up. While not throttling innovation, the regulators must keep the spirit of competition alive. So while not throttling the innovation, means if one does not want to stop the innovation or to stop the development of the world, then there must be competition among the companies or among someone. Only then there could be some type of innovation. The lawsuits against Facebook by the Federal Trade Commission and the Attorneys General of 46 US states and by the District of Columbia and the Territory of Guam are a significant challenge to the dominant internet empire that Mark Zuckerberg has built in such a short time. So, as we all know, the company of Facebook and its CEO is Mark Zuckerberg. And actually, in a very short time, the Facebook has grown to such a big company in less than 10 years. So now the problem is that so if a lawsuit or a case have been filed against the company Facebook, it's not just filed by one by someone by one organization. It's filed by the it's filed by the Federal Trade Commission, the Attorneys General of 46 US states, and the District of Columbia, and also the Territory of Guam. So these many cases have been filed against the company Facebook, and obviously all of these are a severe threat to the existence of Facebook. The the plaintiffs, working in close coordination, used Facebook on Wednesday for its anti-competitive conduct, which they said harms users, advertisers, competition, and innovation. So the main reason why these cases have been filed against the company Facebook is that its strategy for developing itself is anti-competitive. Means it does not let anyone to compete with anyone to compete with itself. Um, and because of that anti-competitive strategy, the harm is done to the users, advertisers, and so many others. The base the basic charge is that Facebook, in fear of competition, plays by an anti-competitive strategy playbook. Is Yes. So as I said, the main reason for filing all these cases or lawsuits against Facebook is its anti-competitive strategy play. It either buys potential competition, or if it cannot, um, cuts them cuts them off from accessing its large platform. So its anti-competitive strategy, it consists of two parts, um, and these if for example in the cases of WhatsApp and Instagram, um, those two, Instagram and WhatsApp, have been a huge threat to Facebook. So as Facebook has an anti-competitive strategy, what it has done is that, as we all know, it has bought both of those companies. And if there is such a company which could come up in the future, which Facebook cannot buy or is not willing to buy, then what it will do is that it will not let them play on their platforms, Facebook. So they will not provide access to that company on their platform. Money is no bar in buying of potential competition, as the $19 billion purchase price of WhatsApp in 2014 shows. And if Facebook really wants to buy something, there are no bars for Facebook. Means there are no limits. For example, Facebook bought WhatsApp for 14 billion US dollars. The lawsuits highlight Facebook's acquisition of Instagram and WhatsApp, which happened when Mr. Mark Zuckerberg saw them as a real threat to Facebook's continuing success. So yes, the reason why Facebook bought off WhatsApp and Instagram was that obviously both of them were pretty successful apps, and because of that, Facebook feared of that, and so they have bought them off so that they could reduce the competition between them and other companies, so that it could be an easy road to success. Whatever Facebook cannot acquire faces, as a lawsuit puts it, the wrath of Mark. So whatever the company Facebook cannot buy, whatever company the Facebook cannot go against, it will buy before it gets more successful. Because when it gets more successful, it will obviously be a huge threat to Facebook. And the media and everyone have named it as the Wrath of Mark. It may be years before the lawsuits are decided one way or the other, but not even the noisy fallout of the Cambridge Analytica scandal was as much of an existential threat for Facebook as this issue could turn out to be. For while the highlights is its lack of concern for privacy, it ain't that Facebook has struggled to shrug off since the Cambridge Analytica scandal did nothing to stop did nothing to stop the social network's roaring growth. Facebook, which last year made a revenue of over $70 billion, right now has a capitalization that is just a shade under $800 billion. These lawsuits could potentially endanger this business success. So all started way back. The first problem that the Facebook faced, which was related to this problem, was that the Cambridge Analytica problem. Uh, um, uh, a case was filed by the Cambridge Analytica, and that scandal was mainly upon the privacy concerns of the Facebook. Facebook is not too good with managing the privacy of its users, and the same problem is occurring right now too, along with the anti-competitive strategy problem. And actually, Cambridge Analytica was not able to stop Facebook's growth in any way, because last year Facebook made a revenue of $70 billion, and until now its total revenue is it's somewhat under $800 billion. So nothing has been able to stop this roaring growth of Facebook's revenue. But this time, this file has the potential to absolutely destroy the revenue of Facebook, which happened until now. The action against Facebook, however, is not to be seen in isolation, and is linked to the growing backlash against what is called big tech globally. Europe and the US especially have moved against these technology companies, not just on antitrust charges but also on cases involving violation of privacy. Um, so Europe and the US especially had the companies like Facebook have not been usually trusted by the countries like US and UK, not only because of their anti-competitive strategy but also because they could not they were not able to trust Facebook with the concerns of privacy. There seems to be a growing realization about the disappropriate clout that these technology platforms have in the global scheme of things, which they exploit to further domination in the industry. So gradually, the whole world is realizing what the dangers of Facebook are and what it could do to the world. Because it is not letting any innovation before something would innovate, it will buy that company off to them. So obviously innovation won't be taken place, and also then they have the privacy concerns. So because of these two reasons, all the people in the world are realizing the danger of Facebook. In fact, the calls for breakup of technology firms have been put forward by politicians in the US. With its immense scale, Facebook has on more than one occasion has on more than one occasion managed to startle regulators and administrators, not to mention civil society and activists, by its grandiose plans, which seem to threaten the existing of the world order. So many people in the US, like the politicians and the higher authorities and so on, they have been shocked by the way the Facebook is working, and Facebook has also shocked them many times because by their impressive ideas, which were also a huge threat to the world order, in which the technology innovation is happening. So at the same time, what Facebook is doing is impressive, and it also in a way it also jeopardizes the existence of the technology in our world. The offer for a free limited version of the internet and plans for a new digital currency are a few examples. So as I said, Facebook comes up with impressive ideas. So an example of such impressive ideas is this one: the offer for a free limited version of the internet and plans for a new digital currency. Internet monopolies are not a feature of just the developed world. So the internet fightings or the internet conquerings which are happening between Facebook and so many other companies, they are not just a part of the developed world. Means they are not just happening because of the reason that the world is developed. There is something behind it, and it would be useful for the governments and regulators to draw the right lessons from this if they want to keep that spirit of the competition alive. So, if the regulators and the governments of every single country in the world really, if all of them really wants to keep the innovation in our world alive, they need to do something with this problem, um, which has been going since years, since the Cambridge Analytica case was filed. Thank you.